Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another casted game. We're here in Esoc Premier League number 4. Yeah, it's season 4, isn't it? Week 1 between the Hudson Bay Bigs and the Karelian Management Company. Representing Hudson Bay Bigs, he's playing in the pink. In the map, Karelian Lakes as the Mexicans, it's Yukietti. His opponent today, under the game name Harry Potter Chill, but also known as Miggo, playing for the Karelian Management Company. Playing game 1 with the Ethiopians, he spawns to the left of the map in the colour teal. Very strange we've not seen blue and red colours for this series, but I think both Yuki likes teal. Miggo likes teal, Yuki likes pink. I know that Maito's favourite colour is teal, and everybody seems to fight for that colour in games. It's quite funny, considering you can actually customise your own colours and your own options. But that's beside the point. So far the series in week 1 have been electric, really entertaining. And this one appears to be also going to be an absolute blast to cast. Really interesting to see how Miggo plays this series. For you guys who are not aware, Miggo has been out of the scene for a long time. Kind of comes back in once the tournament's announced. Play the game for about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then pieces off for another half a year. But the talent of this man, what he possesses, is so strong. He's so good at the game. Can always return back to the game and take the biggest of victories over the biggest of players. So I think one of the biggest obstacles that Miggo will have to face will be overcoming his own mental ability. Sometimes he does get a bit flustered while playing, and that kind of does depend on how long he wants to play the game. But he's coming back to the Esoc Premier League. This is week number 1, and I'm sure he's in the right frame of mind to give us a good series. Surprised he's playing Ethiopia, though. I didn't really think that Miggo was much of an Ethiopia player. It's quite a complex civ to learn. There's a lot of different units, a lot of new ways to play. It's not standard as European, it's not straightforward. There's so many kind of directions you can go. So it'd be hard to kind of nail on the number 1 strategy and build off the Ethiopians, but they've found great success at the moment on the ladder for people who are certainly in the know and how they want to play. And I think we should have a quick look at Miggo's deck to see what he's up to and how he wants to go about. So he's eaten 1 Zebu cattle to get his villagers in queue. He's sold 1 for wood at the market. I believe he has the huts and the livestock market ready to go. Granary being built for free and has the H1 food tech. 2 Vil Abel does come out. Treasure contention on top side. It's not contention. It's just Miggo taking 1 wood treasure for 45 woods there. Yukietti on the southern side. Again, finding another Clefet, another 45 wood treasure there for Yuki as well. So both players taking really easy tier 1 treasures. Aben here smashing into this witch hunter looking for 40 XP, 1 gold, and will gather at the mountain monastery once that is built. Looking at Miggo's deck, H2, not a lot of cards actually, and I feel like there's a couple of key cards not in there. There's no Gas Kenya shipment behind us at all. Does have the Cannoneers. There's no Sudanese. In the third aid, there's Conquistadors and Somali allies. No 12 Cannoneer shipment, but the Somali allies are so strong. Not seen an F10 shipment as well. Quite a lot of upgrades. And in the fourth age, there's just random mercenaries here and there. I don't actually expect to see any higher Ascaris because they're good, but in age 4, they're not super good. So a bit of a mixed deck there from Miggo. Let's have a look at Yuki's point of view. Aging up to the second age now. Has more of a standard, well, when I say standard land deck, this is kind of unstandard in the sense that it looks like Yukietti is aiming to play through the normal ages and not revolting to Central America in the second age. And that's kind of like the favoured player style of a lot of players on the ladder. Stay in age 2 either a very short period of time or a bit longer. Pike, Chinako play, raids in. Bit of infantry behind to back it up and then revolt. But it looks like Yuki's going to go third age and maybe timing it with the 5 Chinako, the special age up 8 Chinako, 9 Chinako card, and kind of playing a more of a traditional game of Age of Empires 3. But there'll be nothing traditional about this matchup. Ethiopia Mexican is as wild and bonkers as the matchups go. And Yukietti here with his Age 1 Haciendas, the 2 Vils, 1 Hacienda, builds in a forward double plantation in Age 1. I know, it's insane. I still have no idea how this is still in the game. Shipment point as well. Can sense the forward barracks on the age up. sends in insurgents, trains 10 insurgents at a time. I don't know why you can train insurgents at batches of 10, but now we've got 20 pikemen coming in. Royal Embassy wagons have been scouted out by Juan Diego Antonio Torres, and I'm just going to see a lot of buildings going down. That Royal Embassy is not going to get built. Pikemen go straight onto that, getting sieged. Good night to that Royal Embassy. I'd struggle to see a war hut at the moment. I struggle to see any unit production here from Miggo. He's now sending in wood crates. He kind of needs to see the gas Kenyas, but he does not have any gas Kenyas, only Showtails and Cannoneers. So both those units are kind of weak here to the Cannoneers, weak to the Pikemen. Pikemen get up and close and personal to the Cannoneers very quickly, so them being like Abus guns, skirmishers, not going to get a lot done. We do note down to the south a war camp is being built out the line side of the town centre, but Mexico Cheese is cheesing once again, and it's bad enough on the 1500, 1600 Elo ladder when you're facing this, and you have to really alter your playstyle to accommodate potential pikeman spam. But I mean, from Yuki's point of view, there's only 2 batches of pikes, and that's it. Everything else is just normal. He hasn't actually really trained any more pikemen, but the amount of damage that 20 pikemen have caused this early in the game is phenomenal. Getting the Vils out, Vil punching and pulling, hoping to get things done, but I'm struggling to see. Well, I would say here that Yuki is working really hard in his town centre, but he's got to know that villagers are out on the map, building buildings. He should have 1 or 2 searching around. He's trying to spend time killing Vils, punching out, but if he really wants to kill the TC, he needs to focus on TC and ignore the Vils. Let's ride with Miggo, sending Shotel warriors. He hasn't got a market to trade. Zebu Castle at 325 food. That could be a lot of food or wood at the moment. He's trying to gather up the wood now, but he's got no food to spend it on. Shotel's coming in. Cannon's behind. TC down to 1000 HP. Let's look at how many insurgents are remaining here from Yukietti. 17 on the map. He's going to come back in with a... He's got another 10! Another 10 pikemen in. Showtails do come out. Going to trade. They were trained, and here comes shipped Showtails. But double Explorer in the middle as well. Also massive damage. Need to micro that the insurgents are hitting the Showtails and not the villagers. That town centre needs to get healed up urgently, but a single unit sieging that will put down the floor. Another 7 pikemen being trained. I think Yukietti smells this town centre is on its last legs and potentially can come in to siege it down. Chinako's been sent, and the whole Chinako insurgent combination could be really strong here in the situation. Livestock market being rebuilt. That heal button hasn't been clicked just yet here from Miggo. He did gather up all the resources. He can afford it. 218. But he's chosen not to. And actually, Yukietti is not choosing to siege it. He is now. Miggo's realised actually he's got to do something here. He can't let this go down. Cannoneers about to pop though, so they can get some decent kills. But here come the Chinakos. Lancer-style cavalry going to get massive damage on the Abus gun-style units. And straight on top of the Chinakos, that town centre is gone. The Showtails had to pull off. The Cannoneers can't stay around and fighting. And the town centre is down. Is it in the world here for Miggo? Not quite just yet. Yukietti doesn't have the forces to move in and crush the villagers. And the remaining Showtails and Cannoneers are fending back. But certainly slowing down Miggo drastically to the point that, well, he needs to get that cattle to the market. Sell it off for a bunch of wood straight away. Because he needs another town centre to train Vils. Send shipments. He's got no shipment point as well. And Yukietti sending more pikemen. When people say that I always over-complain about Mexico, come on, really? Are you really saying that China's the worst civ in Mexico? Are you really saying that? This is just Pike Z move. Pike Z move at the top of the ladder, claiming another victim. I don't see any way out here for Miggo, especially now that the Chinakos on the Cannoneers. These boys are so strong. 25 attack with high multipliers versus all infantry. And just general nuisance. Good versus cavalry. Villagers going down. And I don't see the town centre's being built, but being built by one Vil. That's not getting up anytime soon. And game number 1 is going to be a quick affair here on Karelian Lakes. Harry Potter, chill, Miggo getting dunked out. You're banned in your town. That is the message that greets Miggo after the first game. Yuki is victorious there. Well played, Yuki. Gets that first point on the board there for the Hudson Bay Bigs in this Play All 5 series. Not really much there to analyse. Yuki just going Straight for a 10 pike shipment, training 10 pikes from the forward barracks, spawning from the forward plantation in age 1. Getting in on the action straight away, fast moving, high siege, pretty decent base attack. Miggo was not prepared for potential pike rush play, going for a little bit of a, I want to say a greedier time, just sending 700 wood card number 1 in the second age, maybe aging a little bit late, war hut a bit late down, and no gas Kenyas in deck. It's a very quick end there for Miggo, and unfortunately that's all she wrote for this one. I wish I could drag this one out, but it is as clean cut as that one. Maybe a timeline of the pikes moving in, 25 versus just the explorers and the Abans. It's not really cutting it there. So right, we'll see you in the next game, and undoubtedly I'll see you boys on YouTube on the next game as well, because I'm sure you'd want to see some more content after this one. And we've still got all 4 other games of the best of 5, play all 5 series coming right up in the next game. So I'll see you over there. Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 2 of this Play All 5 series, part of the Esoc Premier League, week number 1. Yukietti taking a quick victory in game number 1 with a pike rush as the Mexicans. Unfortunately, though, just deletes one of the animals, which seemed to be way out of the building radius there of the catcher house. That's a bit unfortunate. His opponent, Miggo, unfortunately losing that first game. Wanting to come back in this one, though. Kind of needs to come back into this one. Oh, no, there is the animal. It didn't get eaten up. It's just kind of gone underground. And actually, you could be very hard to try and see that. That's just a little bit of a graphical issue. So, Yuki is choosing to play as the Incan civilization on the map Korea, spawning to the southwest in the colour pink. Miggo playing as the French, spawning to the southeast in the colour teal. Early trading post. I think Miggo is back now on more familiar territory with European civs. Still yet to see some of the Asian civs, which Miggo is well known for his strong gameplay in that situation. France at the high level does kind of play itself. I'm sure the fundamentals of Age of Empires 3 here will shine through. Unit control, macro, strategy, unit matchups. But he's versus Yuki. He's playing the Incans, and there is potential for cheese. I'm seeing some cheese here. I'm seeing American allies, and I think it's not a... Okay, this is not a disrespect on Yuki here, but one pattern I've noticed with Yukietti's playstyle, potentially, not confirmed yet, I think Yukietti likes to kind of look through what's happening in the civilizations, the metas, and picks out one of the strongest, most simplest build orders to execute. So we're thinking like Spanish FF, Otto FF, Incan native rush, Mexican pike push. These little simple build orders which can get executed super easily, super strong, and rely on your opponent to play very well to hold and defend. So I'm kind of tempted to see Native American allies here, because the conquistadors from the Jesuit missions, they have been buffed in recent patches. The conquistadors now have an area of effect versus all units. They have splash damage. Essentially, they've been taken away a rifle and given a shotgun. So they're now actually really good units versus mass cav, versus mass crossbow, pike, infantry, anything. If you have units in a bit of a bundle, then conquistadors in mass will certainly do some great damage due to the area of effect. And the fact that Yukietti purposely went to the Jesuit missions suggests he actually does want to go for some native play here. And I wonder if Miggo will sense that. Maybe he might try and steal a Jesuit mission before. I don't really think that Miggo really wants an Incan, some conquistadors versus an Incan player. But then again, you know, Inca, they do have Chimus, so conquistadors do have their role for the French army as well in this situation. He's aging up to the next age with the Elder. Chopping wood in transition. See how he wants to spend that. He is currently really pushing hard on his French Explorer. That's going down. The Chasqui is... Oh, the Chasqui is trying to lock down the Jesuit mission before Miggo tries to pick it himself. I'm unsure if Miggo wants to pick this up as well. Well, he does have double native cards in his deck. Native combat and wilderness warfare. So I think this is intentional. I think we're seeing a native showdown, and there's only 2 slots in this map. Yeah, he's going back for it. He wants to try and remote build. But Ah, the explorer's going to the north. Can he get the flag down before Yuki builds it? I don't think Yuki's actually building it in time. He could... It's so memey that he could remote build this to deny it, but Miggo does get that trading post down and secured. I'm sure Yukietti will follow up his own native trading post as well, getting that one secured. The fact that you can remote build it for half the price, 100 food, 100 wood, and then a build of the explorer. I guess it's like, it's not a design flaw. I guess the whole point is to kind of just, it's a kind of a way to encourage native play, but it just feels very clunky with this whole idea. Inca explorer moves in to find the explorer of France and tries to deny us. That train post will go up, so that's not going to stop. Will the J-Swap mission get converted there by Yuki? Doesn't actually look like it. Yuki just sends in Jungle Bowman's first card. I'm not seeing anything out of the blue here from him. Another Chasky coming in. We do see a pikeman, big bus in time in here from the town centre. Maybe the pikes are moving into the siege to trading post. The jungle bows are going to receive the conquistadors and get some good damage down. Chasky is still chasing down the explorer, looking for that 45 XP a bonus. Miggo in base, defensive outpost, agent up with the governor, 200 gold. Conquistadors are on the way, one in queue. Has the resources for another 2 or 3. Yeah, he should get a batch of 4 here, but there are pikemen out here ready to go. And I think Yuki is actually watching this. He's just going to let them go past. That's unfortunate. But the splash damage is very visible there to see. Explorer moves in. Does he have the special ability here to put onto the conquistadors? Maybe. We find that in a little bit. The jungle bowmans are chasing down though, so the pikemen can siege the trading post, and the jungle bowmans will pick off the conquistadors. Conquistadors are still strong, but they're not too strong to counter their counter units. So Yuki happy with the situation, going to take down the trading post, but does provide France with some time to adjust his strategy behind this. Expecting to see some sort of barracks play behind, but maybe Yuki is just doing like a 5 units FF, and 700 gold is going behind. Really hasn't got much food though, so I'm a bit concerned here for Miggo if he wants to try and go for a fast fortress, whether he'll be able to get this one worked off. I don't think he will. War Hut in base, town centre fire. War Hut doing 45 attack per shot, massive damage to the conquistadors. They do have a negative multiplier by Veil against Vils, thankfully, like literally thankfully, otherwise they'll be insane. But splash damage. The thing is with the splash damage, they didn't actually nerf the attack damage and say, we'll give them splash damage to compensate. It was just these guys now have an area of effect, and their base damage still is the same. It's so kind of strong at the moment. It's so impactful, that area of effect, and has seen quite a lot of games just go pure conquistadors and have strong results. Right, Miggo, age up to the next stage, going for the 4 CDB, 700 gold, 700 wood build order. Clicking up at 7 minutes and 7 seconds. I kind of feel that if Miggo went 4 Vils, 700 wood, 700 gold, he'd kind of be agent at the same time, but would have had steel traps earlier, wouldn't have had to awkwardly chop for them. Yeah, I mean, the build order kind of works, but hasn't really done too much. I'm sure Yuki's also happy booming himself. 106 population behind, so the catcher houses are ticking away nicely. Send in 2 war huts now. 6 bows was his card number 1 into 5 villagers to get that economy going. But 2 war huts, is that going to be enough? Is that enough tempo? Yes, you secure map with it, but France is going to the next stage. They can push out with falconets. I don't really feel that this is the play that Yuki wants with the 2 war huts. The economy behind looking pretty good. Still massively chopping wood here for more catcher houses, one would assume. Another catcher house in base. Doesn't actually quite have a market yet, Yuki, for wood upgrade. So all this is just base wood gathering. Well, I say that though, but he's gathering wood at 0.7 wood per second. So I want to say some. There's just wood dance on the community plasma. Maybe it's the elder bonus bit of economy. I've missed that one. I'm sure Evolution in the chat will help me find that. Help me on that one. Yeah, cog stats. I mean, cog stats on their own are not great. Like 1 versus 1. It's just the whole area effect on mass is so strong. And previously, you know, they were a bit underperforming in terms of their strength. Oh, Chasky's leading Explorer. Maybe Miggo wants to go for another bite of the Conquistador action, getting another native TP, but declines that. Moves in, sees another war hut. In between 2 war huts now, and that Explorer is likely to go down. Yeah, it will go down. Skirms out on the field here for Miggo. Still, there's the age up Huss. Well, no, not age up Huss, trained Huss. Miggo age up fast, remember. Second batch of Hussars. Colonial Huss on the field. There's only a couple skirms here to do with the pikes, but I think that's actually going to be enough to whittle the pikes down for the Hussars to like dive in. So it's going to be pretty good here. Engagement for Miggo. Nice little bit micro. Baits the pikeman, pulls back. Skirms finds in their right targets and picking them off. Sending in wood. Still trains skirmishers and dragoons behind this. Yuki just kind of feels like he's about to get caught out. I say he's about to get caught out. Well, he's going for a massive Chimu time in here. 11 Chimus on the field. And it's a shame that all the pikemen of the crew have gone down. But he has to fight this. He has to get the Chimus in the action now. And Chimu maneuver has been activated. They're charging pretty quickly. And these guys are going to do so much damage to anything they touch. Remember, these are only colonial Hussars. So the Hussars aren't overly scary. And once the Huss go down, it's Chimus on the skirmishers. This army is getting cleaned. Reinforcements, though, from Miggo should be pretty good with the veteran dragoons and more skirmishers behind. But Yuki hasn't lost a single Chimu yet. So it might be tempting to get them back onto the Community Plaza, get the priestess to heal them up. But in the end, did lose 3 there, so could have been, well, it could have been better. That engagement was amazing. You could be very happy with that, and the economy now of Inca is starting to kind of grow. The Catcher House boom is moving along, now sending in the Chincha Brewing. Hasn't seen Queen's Festival yet. 900 resources for 4 villagers is a bit steep, one would argue. So that's probably why we don't see us these days. Remember the early days of Definitive Edition, that was an Age 1 tech. Rather cheap it was as well, and was like core meta. CDB's exposed out on the map. They do have their great coats. I was like, do they don't know. But Chimus just get on top. A lot of dragoons to move in to intercept. Jungle Bowman's going to try and pick off as many as they can, but enough dragoons here to kind of dominate these forces. I think Yuki needs to sack the Jungle Bowman and get the Chimus out. As long as all the Chimus survive, then that was a good engagement there for Yuki. Dragging the army far north as well, out of the rest of the action. Pretty smart. Keeps the French army away from the Incan player's base. Another town centre mid-map is brave, and being built by 2 CDBs will take a long time for that to work. The Explorer is down in base. I really don't think a town centre is what Miggo needs at the moment. A couple Crassiers would be nice. Triple batch of Jungle Bowman coming out. Villagers just about surviving. They need to get their greatcoats on sooner or later, but Miggo still hasn't actually killed a Phil here. There's 3 on super low HP. And looks like you're going to need a little bit more than the main goons he's got. But Chincha movements has been caught again, straight onto the skirms, CDBs, and the goons are just hanging the skirms now. He just wants to get out of the way, and actually the pikeman gets up and close to the goons. There are Jungle Bowmen as well. CDBs have been thrown into the fight to block and protect the dragoons. There are falconets behind as well, but you can't just keep using CDBs as cover here. And falconets are out, but I have a feeling that Yuki would just pull back and wait for Chincha movements. Oh, he's just going to run through. Get the oil out, get the butter on these units. He's just running right through the entire army onto the falconets, and one falconet potentially going down, but overall they're just about survived. That's so lame, that is. The Chinchas, how they get to run through an army like that as if nothing happens. Like, just imagine in real life, you just see like 20 people running into like a block of muskets and they go, actually no, we're not going to attack you, we're going to run right past you. It just doesn't happen, and they need to really increase the obstruction radius of the Chimu runners, so that stuff like that just can't feasibly happen. Town centre still being built. Another batch of Chimus is coming in here from Yuki. 15 on the field. Jongabo's going to push with it. The town centre is like acting like a wall at the moment. That's probably the best thing it does, is a wall. But one falconet goes down. Another falconet on really low HP. Chimus are going to try and find that as quickly as possible. Get on top of that, get that killed, and then just hunt the dragoons underneath. That town centre nearly built, but a couple CDBs going down. Will it get built in here? I think there's still 3 building it, but it's going to be close. It's going to be close. It's going to get denied. A city being pulled on the back line to try and build it. It might go up. It does go up, but at what price? That's a lot of vills going down to try and get this going. Yuki at 40 vills. Miggo, 19. 16 of them are idle. He's already gone through 3 unit shipments as well, so he kind of needs another unit shipment to try and amass a timing on these remaining H2 units, but his window is closing very, very rapidly. The Inca economy in the second age now looking very strong, especially the Chincha brewing on those houses. Remember, it's not just 40 villagers, it's 40 houses plus full population of Cancha House Eco. 12, that's 12 houses of 0.96, so essentially like a hunting dog villager. Yuki's like a 50 vil Eco, 53, 54, 55. Put a number, any number will do, doesn't really matter. And just triple training units at the moment, and actually could go for a 4th stable. Look at the coin he's floating. He needs to get some Chimi runs, but he's got way too much gold to spend. It would be very smart for him to go into Conquistadors as well, just to kind of round out that composition, but I don't think it really matters. 25 vills hunting, as well as the Catcher House Eco. This is going to be another full batch of Chimus, and the Dragoons will do well versus these units, but apart from that, there's not a lot of stuff behind. All the vills here from Miggo are forwards on the hunt on the mine, but also ready to be body blocked. There will be a raid on to the vills, but Chimu movement has been called again here from Yuki, chasing down. Look at the speed of them, 7.25 briefly, just chasing down the skirmishers, and he's just going to hunt the skirms. Villager Ball being called, Minutemen, Crassier timing as well. This is Miggo's last hurrah if he wants to try and stay in the game. He needs to crush this, but skirms have gone down, and that's Chimu's going to really focus on the Crassiers. That's not going to work. CDP is not in the melee. They're firing from a range. They're going to be personally up and close. Dragoons helping, and yeah, the cab just moving on the sides. They're not quite committing, trying to focus on the pikemen. Villagers just getting nice and deep, but nothing. It's reinforcing here from Miggo, and this is just looking dire. 17 village, only 6 gathering food. Everything else is here. Most of the villas in the nearby area, and again, Yuki's Eco hasn't been touched, so the problem hasn't been solved. The immediate fight potentially dampened, but Yuki's still on a rampage and picks up the next game. Miggo taps out 2-0 for Yukietti. Hudson Bay Bigs going absolutely wild here. Interesting play early on. Dyson with the control of the Conquistadors. Yuki feigning to me an age 2 native rush. That didn't quite materialize. Early play with the Spearman and the Chimu and the, was it the, not Chimu, the Jungle Bowman to deny an early mass of Conquistadors, get that native post-sieged. Miggo aging up fast with 4 vil 700 gold, but a little bit delayed build, delayed steel traps, if I may say so. Early engagements in the third age actually looked pretty good for Miggo, and Yuki's whole strategy seemed to be a bit edgy at that point. However, once the Chimu started to come out onto the map, the game started turning into Yuki's favour. These Chimu runners are absolutely beastly, and there's no upgrades for them. That is just how strong the Chimu runners are. They don't have to be strong units, they just need to work together as a mass very well. Small obstruction radius, fast, nimble, get the damage done. Even multipliers versus artillery. Wow, 30 attack versus a falconet. Those skirms never really getting too much done, and it's really hard to do the 3-unit composition here, where Miggo for the longest of time was a 2-unit composition of skirm goon. So 3-unit comps beats a 2-unit composition. Mid-map town centre not quite working out here for Miggo, and another game where Yuki just showing strong build orders, strong ideas. I would say this probably deviates from a build order, maybe. This did seem that Yuki just playing a civ he knows very well, and actually reading the situation on the board as it came and reacted to it when it needed. But after the Fortress Age, not too many more villas were trained and just constantly lost them to the Chimu raids, and that really put Miggo under the pressure. And also under the mental pressure that he had to essentially start fighting and trading, which is what Yuki wanted. Every time you see these trades, even if it's a bit questionable, it's exactly what Yuki wants. He has the superior eco, he has the production to train and spam, and that's what he did. Kept on producing, and the economy was just greatly divergent at the end, and Yuki was just outproducing and closed that game off. So really smart play there. Really happy to see that one. Good games, and we'll see you guys in the next game of the Play All 5 series between these two players in the Esoc Premier League 4. So I'll catch you in the next video, guys. Thanks for watching. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another casted game. We've got ourselves a China mirror for the third game in this Play All 5 series between Yukietti and Miggo. Yuki spawning to the southwest in the colour pink. The map is Manchuria. Nice herd in there, gathering the crates. I'm expecting Yuki to go straight for a trading post. Disciple's gone forward, picked up a couple of yaks. I'm expecting similar plays here from Miggo, but he's been swayed by a 75 wood treasure. That is tempting. Yuki here chasing down some yaks, might convert that. Does actually see the treasure being taken, so maybe curious to try and intercept. I kind of don't really get this kiting action with the Chinese monk. Don't tell me he's going to try and kite it with a melee explorer. The thing is, you could, at this point, kind of like, yeah, just stun one tiger and then kill the other. Because at the end, you're still having to fight a tiger which isn't stunned and is getting annoyed and killing you. So you kind of end up with the same HP, except for just kind of delaying it. Miggo, oh, deviation of a build already. Double village in base. Looking to send 3 villagers, card 1 here. Yukietti going straight for a trading post. Gets an XP in. Scouts at 75 wood and 40 wood. That 40 wood is crucial. I think Yuki's incorporated that into the build. Yep, there's the build. 180 wood gathered. Throwing that one down. Forward village. Never like that, but I don't think Yuki will mind too much. Maybe he's just trying to get a forward wall being built up. But I think what happened there with Yuki, he saw the wood treasure and it's like, right, I now know I only need 1. Yuki's still going for 2 Vil cards instead of tea leaves. Interesting play, interesting play. Even in this matchup, maybe...
More reinforcements have arrived.
Good evening, good afternoon, Esoc. I didn't realize you were streaming, so fair play. Welcome, welcome. We're in the third game of Yukietti and Miggo. The first 2 games have been exciting games, of course. Always watch them. You can certainly watch them back either on this platform, Twitch, or later on YouTube. So watch out for that one. Miggo here, playing some old style China, going for the triple villager opening. You know what? We might actually see a Mito build, which is very exciting. Just want to come back to Yuki's point of view first, just to see what else is happening. Yuki actually is going for tea leaves. Okay, so he sent the wrong cards and cancelled. I was very curious to see if he would actually send in tea leaves or the villagers first. He's gone for tea leaves confirmed. That'll be throwdown. And Yuki might still try and go for the French consulate play, but with all these yaks and goats on this last map, I don't actually think you really want French consulate. Yeah, he's going Russian consulate. Love that play. I think that's the right call here. You can still go Russian consulate on Temple of Heaven, Age Up Wonder. You could age up the Summer Palace or Porcelain Tower Age 2. I don't think it really matters which way you play it, but I like the Russian idea here to get that blockhouse. Great for defense, great for production, great for population space. An all-round great building there for China. So Miggo here playing a triple village opening with the villager card. No tea leaves in deck. Maybe Miggo is unaware of the tea leaves meta here for China. So what do I mean by the Mito build? So it's a build that Mito pioneered a long time ago. Probably for Esoc Premier League number 3. Maybe even Esoc Premier League number 2 going back. No, Esoc Premier League 3. 2 was when DE was not even out yet. But actually, you know, Mito build might have been started around there, or maybe the Mito build was a different variation or a different idea completely. So what this is here from Mito is that you delay your first age up a little bit by going 3 villages, so you can send a 4 villager card. What this means is you can cut 1 villager from the town centre, so you can still age up at a respectable time here. Miggo looking to probably continue training villagers, but putting 6 villagers on the Wonder to kind of compensate. You age up to the next age, all your villagers on wood, a couple on food for villager production. You're going to drop down a barracks. No, you're going to drop down a consulate, I think. You're going to drop down a consulate first, ally a German consulate for cheaper batches. you're going to drop down a barrack straight away, and all you're going to do is send shipments after shipments after shipments of units. You've got 3 villages, so you've got all the population space you need for a massive army. Oh, I say that, he's now on gold now, so I'm a bit... No, he's getting enough wood here. He's going to TP. He's getting TP gold, and then maybe aging up. So you probably won't see the Mito build. But if you are interested, Mito did this for a long time in Age of Empires 3 DE, and had great success with it, just going full-on aggressive Age 2 hyper-aggression with consulate, benefit, barracks, and just sending units after units. But Miggo chopping a lot of wood in transition for a trading post. I feel that Miggo's age up here to the next age is going to be really, really slow. I mean, it can't be any slower than Yuki's position, but the thing with the Tea Leaves Russian blockhouse idea is that you don't actually have to send yourself 700 wood. You can just go Tea Leaves, 700 wood, age up, and have that extra shipment available for stuff. Miggo needs 700 wood here because, well, he's got no barracks, he's got no consulate, so he needs to get that down eventually. He's got a delayed trading post, so his shipment progression's really poor. He might send 700 wood now, but he won't have a shipment ready for the age up in the 3rd age. 2 drastically divergent strategies. I have to say I like Yuki's position more, although, you know, the 4 villager age 1 does pay itself off in terms of economy, but it's the rest of the tempo is the issue here for Miggo. Delayed XP and no production ready on the age up. Does he chop? Well, he's sending wood now, but he's 300 XP away from next shipment. I mean, he will get a shipment ready for next age, but everything else, it feels a bit slow. And let's look at Yuki's point of view. Well, he's also sending 700 wood, so scrap that as well. But actually what happens is Yuki gets the age up in just before Miggo. Still sends in the woods. To be fair, you can send in wood as well with the blockhouse. The blockhouse does cover that. It does give you that protection versus extra age 2 cheese, which may come in. Would I have sensed the wood in there? Maybe. Maybe not. I think it all depends on how much XP treasures or how well your previous ages come in. That 90 experience points there for Yuki. Absolutely huge. Really gonna push forward here. Oh, he's going for a war academy? No way you can double produce China units this early. Maybe he wants to upgrade bow pike? No, he wouldn't do that as well. He's got no bow pikes upgrades. I'm just a bit confused why he wants a war academy. Maybe he's forgot he's got blockhouse. He's going to need still another 2 villages and maybe a market and some tech. So, you know what? I've just got no idea what's going on in this game. This is tearing up the China playbook as how Mini Malts has rewrote it in recent days. Yuki is kind of playing similar to how I would play it, but I'm not feeling uber confident about the second production here. He's already yoinked out of the Russian consulate, now probably going to go into Brit consulate to boost his units. He's got, well, his summer palace is on the Changdao and Skirm. He's now going, yeah, German tongue to try it, or German consulate to try and make the training from blockhouse and war academy cheaper, but even then, that's a lot of resources. It's going to need another village, but that shouldn't be too bad. Forcing Tower is on wood, but once you have the population space, you need to put that onto gold and start eating up the yaks to make good use of double production. Otherwise, I'm a bit concerned about the whole idea. Yeah, stereotype. I think you've hit it, that both builds seem a bit off compared to the French consulate I did. Well, I think the French consulate is really good. I think it's like a 9 out of 10 build, or maybe an 8 out of 10 build. I don't quite think it's a 10 out of 10 build. But I think in a FF mirror versus each other, I think it might be the 10 out of 10 build. I think if you are certain that you are not under any pressure, you can get yourself a really good Age 1, Age 2 play and have this momentum in the next age. Like, Miggo's just going for an FI. He's sending in 1,000 gold in the shipment, eating all the yaks and trying to jump up. But the steps have come in. He's seen it. The arquebusiers, they've seen it. And I think Yukietti is like, right, okay, this is what's going to happen. He's going to try and age up. He's going to age up with the skirmishers. I've got about 90 seconds to hit him with a massive timing, but I've got time to plan, time to prepare. That wonder placement is so far from the town centre and the village. I absolutely despise that one. Yeah, villagers are running back. Honestly, he just deletes it and rebuilds it somewhere else because you cannot age up FI with no vills on the wonder. It's way too slow. Yuki sees it. Don't siege it, please. Oh, Yuki's hunting for vills. He thinks there's vills behind, which is a logical idea. But no, Miggo has actually just abandons the age at wonder and will slow age here, which is going to take him a long, long time. Summer Palace still on the age 2 army. I'm sure he'll change that over once that's coming out, if he remembers. Meteor Hammer's being sent. Cavalry on top of the skirmishers. Needs to move some units around. Yeah, that's double step rise, but the Meteor Hammer's about to pop out. Don't siege the Confucian Academy. You're not going to siege it down. I mean, you might, but you might as well siege a village first. 2 villages. That porcelain tower's looking tasty to kill. I wouldn't worry about that. Meteor Hammer's come out. Yeah, that's going to pull. Dragbox micro. Inverts. Cavalry forwards. Not many Changdaos remaining. Halfway to their 4th age. Yuki, single producing again from the academy. Blockhouse not being used, but that probably has just trained some units. Disciple shipment on the floor. 17 disciples. No, Changdaos. Disciples have been retrained. These are essentially coyote runners. They're cavalry. They're going to be very good versus the skirmishers which pop. You know that there will be skirmishers coming. And there's still 3 Meteor Hammers. Miggo aging up with no units. 30 population. 29 of them are villagers. Did change to Summer Palace, but does actually have pike Minutemen to try and protect the skirmishers on the age up, but the Chinese FI has kind of fallen out of favour recently. The thing is, on a map with these yaks, FI is so tempting with the extra food. You could do it. Also, the problem is that your opponent has the yaks to eat as well to speed up his aggression. Those yaks have been devoured, being eaten now as we speak. Porcelain Tower on gold, and we just see floods and floods of units here from Yukietti. Now sending in skirmisher combat because he's essentially... He doesn't think he needs any more units. He's like quite happy his position. He's just sieging villages. I think sieging villages is good. The only problem here is actually you want to try and kill these units before any more shipments turn up, because 8 Meteor Hammers are on the way, and that is kind of enough to really cause some issues with the Town Centre Fire, Disciplined Arquebusiers, Minutemen. It's an Age 4 Explorer. Oh no, Explorers in Yuki's base. That's a bit of a blunder, isn't it? 90 XP there to Yuki early on, which I did comment, but more importantly, not be able to fight with it. Minutemen do come out. Meteor Hammers on the far side. There's more cav coming here for Yuki, and the thing is, Yuki sees this and just says, I just need to make more cav. Full cav here works. Going Manchu works. Miggo is pop locked. He's only got 1 War Academy to try and spend it. I think he's hoping for a Rattan shield time, but he's down in XP. Changdao's Meteor Hammer's engaging. Meteor Hammer's doing massive damage, but all they're attacking is Changdao's and Meteor Hammers of China as well, and they're attacking, so it hasn't quite worked. All the skirmishers have gone down. How does he kill the Changdao's? He doesn't. Really awkward here for Yuki's point of view. Miggo just has to run for it, and this is the game he needed to win to get back into the series. It's a play all 5 series, but if you're down 3-0 after 3 games, I don't think we've... Okay, which we have seen a few 5-0s already this EPL, but they're never pleasant to see. And this isn't great as well. Calvin sent the other side. Those meteors are trapped. Forward village here for Yuki. Surely spawning. Intervention. Double Soddeners. Perfect for sieging. I'm sure Yuki's constantly looking pretty fine as well. Yeah, he's sent wood trickle. Coin trickle nearly ready to go as well. Couple cav. Single batch of skirm sword. Another village. Maybe Rattan shields, but Rattan shields is such a tad thing to do. That's not DE standards. In DE, this isn't a good card. They're disciplines, and they really get not dunked on by dragoons in this game mode. They had their tags redone, so they're actually a balanced unit now. And the thing is, with Changdao's and Doppels in there, it's just not going to work. I don't actually think what else could work here for Miggo. Nothing else here really can work. I mean, the only thing which could potentially is Manchu, but even then, probably Rattans is his best option. But I think Miggo just wants to show the card and say, this is what I'm playing for. To kind of like show potential what's... Show to Yuki, like, yeah, this is what I was going for, instead of just holding out for a bit longer. But I don't think this will be the cleanup he hopes. Cap will be forward. Zweihanders ready to just dice apart. Villagers getting tanked up. It's brutal. This is brutal. There's still so many full HP Zweihanders and they're just ripping through the Rattans. Rattans do kill the Chain Dials, but even if he kills the armies, so what? Down so many vills. Yuki, all momentum, clears up the Rattan shields and surely here takes the game. Game number 3. I'm so confident in the situation. I might just award that point now. Yeah, there you go. Game's been called. Yuki taking that 3-0. GG to both players. Interesting take on the China mirror there. Not so much... kind of feels like the old versus the new. Yukietti playing the new style with the T-Leaves card 1. Miggo there. 3 villages, age 1. 4 villager cards in the first age, but lacking experience it seemed like throughout the entire game. Shipment progression behind, tempo was behind, and tried to get the FI in when tempo was down. It just didn't work. The thing with the FI is, yes, if you have a good eco, then your transition to age 3 to age 4 is quite nice, but you don't need a good eco. You send in the gold, horse and tire goes into food, everybody goes onto food, you eat your yaks, you get up. That extra eco age 1 doesn't really help too much. Getting that 4th age, not many units on the field, it all fell apart. Let's actually have a look at that villager population. We can kind of see that earlier impact of the 4 vills. Well, Yuki's on 11 vil, Miggo's on 15, but you got to remember, Yuki now is only paying 90 food for each of his villagers. They train a little bit faster. It does slow down the age up because you have less eco, but what happens here is actually Yuki ages up to the 3rd age faster. The Wanderers get put down at the same time, but Yuki still manages to get up quicker, which is interesting. I think Yuki here cutting vills to make sure that happens. Keeps on producing. Miggo focus on the age up, gets the age up down. At that point though, the military comes to town and puts on massive pressure. No military trained. There's a Minutemen. There's a shipment of Meteor Hammers. There's a shipment from the Summer Palace. These 5 units are Summer Palace batch from both players. But Yuki here moving in. 37 military pop versus pretty much nothing. Never loses that advantage. The age up comes in. Just the Arquebusiers on its own. There is cav reinforcements in the shape of the 8 Meteor Hammers. That fight was okay. Rattan shields at the end. You can't quite see in the military population because they are natives. It didn't quite work in the end. And the game was over. So well played there to Yukietti. We'll have to move on into game number 4. If you like that game, make sure to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.